You're listening to Life and Shyt. I'm Danielle Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal.
Hey, baby.
What's up, girl?
How you doing?
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Hey, got a question for you.
You threw me off with your melody. I thought you was actually going to sing a song. I was about to say, no, please do not start.
No, I would not. But hey, a little melody, that's okay.
Singing or rapping.
Just enough. I'm a good rapper. I am a good, not a good rapper.
You can put words together.
Yes. I may not be able to get paid for it, but I'll entertain. So, is it cheaper to keep her?
Hell no, it's not cheaper to keep her.
Why?
Is it cheaper to keep her? Hell to the no. You can't put a value on happiness. You know, like, I know it's easy to say it's cheaper to keep her when people start throwing numbers out there. Mm-hmm. And, but because I've been through a divorce and I know what it's like. So
I almost forget that you've been through a divorce.
Yeah, 17 long years ago. Like, 17 long. That was almost 2 decades.
Yes.
So, and in that time, you know, if you would have asked me that same question, I would have told you the same thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And from a financial standpoint, like I don't think I could have put a dollar on it, because at the end of the day, you know, he was angry every single day. Like when people say, "Oh, it's cheaper to keep her," like, you're lying. Stop it. So you'll be able to get over all that shit.
Yeah, the mental health
exactly.
It's not going to work if you're unhappy. And if you're unhappy, then it's no amount of money is going to be worth that.
So in 17 years, I made that money over tenfold.
Truth.
You know,
that and for all the pain and the suffering that you went through as well. You're not lying. So a little bit of history. Okay. In 1643, and Anna and Dennis Clark were one of the first recognized divorce, or what do you say, recorded divorces. Yeah. I guess Dennis one day, he's like, you know what? I'm over this. I'm gonna go be with someone else.
In the 1600s, Dennis was like, I'm out.
Yeah, he said, I want to be with another woman. And on his affidavit in court, that's exactly what it said. He wanted to be with another woman. He had 2 kids by his wife that he was with, and then he had 2 kids by the other woman.
So Dennis was a trendsetter. Dennis said, why am I the only one that feels this way? And then he decided to walk away. That's crazy that the first recorded was 1600. I would have thought it goes back further than that. You know what I mean? As far as, people been getting married for years.
That's true.
People been breaking up for years.
True.
But they never actually recorded it. It was just like, all right, we're done. Go our separate ways. So why record it?
Because of somebody. He probably was like, I want to protect my stuff, because they probably was like some kind of a common law, right? Because there's the common laws.
Go back to the agriculture.
Yeah, people don't talk about the common laws, which I'm sure were in place before the real laws were, right? So it was like common law. Then it was like 7 years. You'd be with someone for 7 years. Then common law, they're your wife, right? Yep. I don't know if common laws still stand in America, but after that, then it's like, hey, do you have to give 50% of your stuff, or, you know?
That's when you start talking numbers, that's when it gets scary. It's like, whoa, hold on, whoa. But you look at Bezos and these guys, when they got divorced, Bezos, Gates, like I'm talking within the last 10 years. True. You know, they gave up a significant amount of coin for happiness.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
And on both parties.
Yeah, it sounds like it was very mutual.
Yeah, like almost a business deal.
Yep, and they walked away satisfied. It's like, and no kind of animosity. Couple of reasons why people divorce. Number one is what?
Sex.
Infidelity.
Oh.
Which
sex.
Kind of like sex. Or lack of sex.
The lack
or
of there.
Difference in sex, right? Like maybe they like something different than you like, and you get into a relationship and you find out like, shit, no, you know.
Could you imagine that? Hold up. Like, we've been together, so when people rush in, like we just asked our producer how long he's been engaged, right? He said for a few months.
Yes.
And so when people rush into, getting married, it's like, you think you think you would have that conversation before. Like, so to say we broke up because of a difference in, it's like, well, what the fuck did y'all do the whole entire time before that?
No, but there's those times where plenty of stories, right, where a male is married to a woman for 20 some odd years, and then he finds out that he's gay, or not even finds out. He knew, but he was suppressing it. He
that's different.
You know, no, that's sex. That's still sex.
That's different though.
You know, and then even with the woman, you know, it's like, well, all this time I liked women, or maybe they like feet. Is that what you want me to say?
Yeah,
they had some scary addiction to
that's
feet.
That's what it was.
And that it could be any of these, you know, extreme to the smallest thing, you know, where I could be allergic to your semen, you know what I mean? And that could be a problem. So just different times of sex.
10 to 20% of marriages are sexless. Like, they do not have sex at all. That's a trip to me.
Yeah.
That immediately I would be like, yeah, I'm out. I'm done. Like 10 to 20, that's a significant amount of people just not having sex that are married. Like, is that by choice? Now, if it's by circumstance, I understand. Especially if it's a medical reason, totally understand. By choice? Yeah, it's grounds for divorce.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got to give it up. Financial issues is one.
Financial issues I could definitely understand from if there is someone in the house spending money like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the lack of finances, I feel like that shouldn't be an issue. It's like, yo, we're in this together. Let's try and figure it out together.
It depends on the woman and the man, right? Because I've heard of all kinds, you know, in all our years of being married, I've heard of all kind of different situations where it's a woman who makes more money and then the male feels intimidated, or the male makes money but makes the woman feel like shit because she doesn't make any, but she takes care of the house. But he's like, I don't care. I make the money.
That's
or
ego.
Neither one of them, you know, make a lot of money. They live with their mother or one of their mothers, you know what I mean? And it's a bad situation. The kids are, so it's like that's a struggle, you know? And it's like, how long do you go through that? You know what I mean? Like, and my first relationship, like with my kid's dad, it was financial as well. It wasn't the reason that we broke up, but I mean, after a while, I mean, people told me all the time, like, why are you working 2 jobs and he doesn't work at all, you know, or why are you doing so much? And I'd be like, it's not about him, it's about me, you know, like, this is what I do. But at the same time, like, it did open my eyes, like, why the hell aren't you helping or doing something, you know? Yeah,
but that goes to, like, laziness. That's not because of the finances, right? Like, you know, if laziness is an issue, then that's the problem. If he was working part-time, then would that have been okay? Because you're working 2 jobs, but at least he's working. Yeah.
No, that still wouldn't have been okay.
So if he was working 2 jobs, you're working 2 jobs, and y'all both are trying to work out of that finance, then I see that. But finance, I see it, and it's always a difference in opinion that where it comes down to finances. And then that trust. Like, you got to, like, finance is just a tricky, like, we did a whole podcast on bank accounts and, you know, having your own separate bank account and having bank accounts together. So to break up over finances, to me, it seems like it has to be almost like a business, like a partnership, like somebody stealing from you.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
And that happens too. That does happen. You're absolutely right, though. But people do some shady
Weird
things. When it comes to sex too and financial reasons. Poor or lack of communication. I've definitely been in situations. I've read books. I've seen couples or I've been around friends, and it's like, oh, did you talk to your husband about X, Y, Z? And they're like, oh no, we don't really talk. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't talk?
I see communication being like one of those next to sex. It's like it's either. Because if you're not communicating, you ain't having sex.
Yeah, that's true.
So communication is almost like hand in hand.
Yeah, we got to talk. Too much communication, but, you know, we got to talk. So emotional, physical, or psychological abuse. So if someone's gone through something.
Now we're talking about the gangster stuff. Yeah. Like hurting people's feelings is just not cool.
Yeah. So that's, that is gangster stuff. You're right. I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, so any form of abuse is definitely a reason for divorce, if you ask me. Yeah, any form, emotional, physical, verbal. Child rearing disputes. That's a huge one, right?
That goes up there with communication.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because it's like communication, raising children, and sex, to me, are like top 3.
Yeah, but that's something that changes, right? So when you and I got together, I wasn't completely aware of your child rearing ways, you know what I mean? And I was kind of like thrown off. So, I think that that's something that, like, if that two people have a child, you guys could talk about how I'll treat my child this way or that way, or maybe you don't even have that conversation until you have a child. And then you're like, wait, what? Like you do what? Like, no, we're not going to do that to this kid, mm-hmm. Or like, as times change, you change. So I think that's one of those that changes.
That's true. But I had a firm belief when we first got together and mm-hmm. we discussed this. I was like, hey, I don't think we should have a child together. Uh-huh. You have two, I have two. We got a blended family of 4. And one of the reasons I was like, first, our kids are getting older and we have a baby now. That baby got nowhere to go when it's time to travel.
Yeah, that was my big thing. Yeah.
that
Where's it going to go?
All the time. Mm-hmm. The other part, I was like, people change when they have a child. Specifically, women change. Mm-hmm. Like when a child is born, women change. A man is looking like, I want the same attention I used to get before this kid was here. Mm-hmm. And now I'm not getting any attention. And the kid becomes priority. Mm-hmm. And as a man, I look at the kid like, yeah, the kid is my priority, but you're my priority too as a woman. Like there's no levels to it.
This is a conversation that we've had tons and tons and tons of times. And it's, as a woman, you always look at your child as soon as you become a mom, it changes. You have to change because you now have someone that you have to look after for mm-hmm. the rest of your life. So as a woman, you have to change, but it's also important to realize if you have a man who is in your life and who is there for you, that he is still here and he still needs you, So it's, you don't just leave your child and and then it's the other thing too, where we've asked plenty of people, like if your child and your wife are about to fall off of a bridge, right? Mm-hmm. Who would you say first? A husband is definitely going to say his wife. Why? Because his wife, he feels, we've heard, and I believe you can make more children, yep. Right? A wife is gonna get her child. Yeah. She too could have more children.
By somebody else.
But that's her baby. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But this is child rearing. So this is how you raise the child, yeah. Right? So you have different conversations about how you raise a child. And then as you're raising the child, things change. You're like, wait, I know this little motherfucker was going to act like that though. Yeah. Like, okay, I would have treated him this way, but yeah.
So would that be a conversation to have, like going into marriage? Like, yo, what do you, it goes back to like our communication, our episode on parenting too. Mm. Like what kind of, rules or whatever, what do you see parenting to be like? Mm. And then have that communication because, I see parenting to be this way. And I tell people all the time, you don't know it till you get into it. Like, true. Like we have, conversations with people and we say, yo, these are humans. Mm-hmm. You can't control any human. These humans are going to do whatever they want. You can set these little boundaries around them. You could try and mold them up. You could do a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, they have their own free will and they're going to do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. And we've tried to give that advice. But like you said, you didn't know mine. Mine was very disciplined, I'm like, hey, these are the rules. And as long as you do X, Y, and Z, you could have A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. It was pretty simple and easy.
Well, that's all parents. They feel like their rules are super simple and easy, right? True. But then it's not so easy for the kids. And
then people don't communicate, and then boom, now you're divorced. Yeah. All because of what? Because I was yelling at the kids.
Oh, we had some rough times in our marriage due to
1,000%
not quite understanding or quite. Just agreeing with what was going on, but we got through it, and I love you. I appreciate you for that. Yeah, religious and cultural tensions. Now, this could happen if I marry someone who's in a different religion as me, right? Or if I have a different religion or cultural. Just habits or thoughts, or some. I don't know. I'm gonna pull something out, some super weird or something. Like I've heard of I don't know why this is coming to my head, but it's a poop cutting.
What? If you watch this on YouTube, I don't know if she's cutting poop or trying to see if her pen works. What?
So I was reading on Facebook one time.
Oh, that's.
It's like one of those an advice column, and this lady had just married her husband, and when she went to go visit his mom, she had a stick in the back behind the toilet, and she said that is to chop up poop. And she's like, that's disgusting. Like, what are they doing? This is something that's kind of, I would say, I guess it's cultural and there. Yeah.
I don't know what culture does that. That's definitely.
It's like a middle American thing.
That's house only. Yeah. I wouldn't even claim that in America.
No, but it's odd. But there's tons of comments of people saying, yeah, we do that too. Or we had a stick, but now we got a knife. And I'm like, first off, what are you people eating? But that's a whole other story.
Anybody has a knife in the bathroom, run.
And then religious, right? So
that was your cultural point?
Yeah.
That was wild.
That's all.
That was a wild cultural point. Damn.
That's all.
Y'all might want to fact check that one.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's a thing. Hey, go ahead. Go ahead. Well, Google it. Google it too.
And the words of your brother, you're supposed to say. Google it. So from a religious standpoint, I can understand not prior to, like if you're together and, say we have no religion and then we get married and then all of a sudden you want to go to like some whatever and then become an extremist in that religion, right? I don't think religion could be a problem unless you become an extremist in it and then there's a difference of opinions on that stuff. So I could definitely see that.
Yeah, definitely. We went to a church before where it was like, if your husband don't go, he's a devil.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
You talk about putting a strife between your husband and yourself. It's like, woo.
And people was believing it. Yeah. Very cult like.
Oh my goodness. Right.
Jeez.
Yes. Addictions.
1,000%.
Yeah. So whenever I think of addictions, I think of drugs first, right? But I've heard stories of people having gambling addictions, and I mean that's almost worse. I've heard, it's like, hey, he was out spending or like gone for 3 days because he was trying to win $10 million or $10,000 back. It's like I almost would rather have been cheating or him have been cheating, you know?
That goes into finance. So it's like the addiction of gambling. Now you mess with the finances. So that's almost like a double, triple fold. Yeah.
And then sexual addictions and what else? I mean, you could be addicted to anything. So if sports, like maybe they didn't like any sports at all, and now all of a sudden they're these fanatics, then that's a problem.
I think if it goes to like the addiction starts messing with the attention that you're giving, right? The relationship, right? So if it's not drug, like now we're taking out not drug and alcohol, like obviously drug and alcohol, that's a different problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and if you can't help your spouse in that problem, then, you know what I mean? Of course, the circumstance is going to be different. But say like somebody that's addicted to PlayStation or something like that.
Oh boy, that's just oh my gosh.
Like we have a few conversations with people, they be like, oh, he does not come off the game. Yep. He's always on the sticks.
I'm on those sticks. I was like, oh my goodness.
And that's just the lack of attention.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so the lack of attention, is it an addiction or is it just, you missing the point on the language of love?
Right. Yeah, you just don't like who you're around, so you decide to be around other people. I mean, and you got to have a good balance, guys.
Yeah.
Got to have a good balance.
And girls.
Yes, and women, yeah. Because there's some women. Yeah, that's true. And then if they're not, then they're addicted to social media, right? So, because I've heard that's another addiction. People are like, she posts all the time. Or
that camera's always coming out. Yeah.
So that's the thing as
because that attention is coming from somewhere else outside. It's a different type of attention. Yeah, 1,000%.
A difference in expectations of goals. That is huge. Because first off, if you don't write goals together as a couple, then that's already a kind of a bad situation. So if you should sit down, as we do. Generally, we do it before the end of the year. Sometimes we'll do it right in the beginning November, of the
December.
Year. But we'll talk about our goals for family, for business, personal, and then a couple goals. So I think that's important. That
and like writing goals down, but real goals too. Like don't feed me no like, oh, one day I'm going to be president of the United States.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be president. You don't even volunteer for any community service. Like, go to any board meeting. Like, let's have some realistic goals that we can see action being taken towards it.
Smart goals.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So, yes, I can see goals being, and then like being bamboozled, right? I could legitimately, so when we got together and I told you that I read books all the time and I did all this other stuff and I put that game down. Like you could have held me to that. You could have been like, yo, bro, like you lied. Like and unless a change happened,
Yeah, but that's not our goal though. It wasn't like, okay, let's set this goal to read. If we would have said,
what I'm saying
if we would have got together and you would have been like, all right, we're gonna set a goal for 10 books before the end of this year, and then I got with you and he was like, it's like I don't wait, that would be different.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you set these goals that are totally outlandish, have nothing to do with what the family. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you have your own individual goals, but like you said, then what are our goals together? And they have to be in line.
True. Personal differences. That's
the catch-all.
Boom, right? At the end of it all, it's just like...
You like Nike, I wear Reebok.
Yeah. I just don't like your ass.
Yeah, that is the catch-all. That's what was on my divorce papers. When I got divorced 17 years ago, it was personal differences. To me, that was everything. Like, yo, we just, and people say it nicely, we just grew apart.
Yep. Yeah.
How'd you grow apart? I was only 22 years old. So yeah,
I grew up.
And in my own personal divorce, and I used to say this all the time, first marriage is like a pancake. When you first make pancakes, you always fuck up that first pancake when you flip it. And then second time around, that pancake look a little better. Third time around, you need to stop making pancakes. That's how I look at it. Danielle used to get on me all the time for saying that. She was like, you need to stop saying that because I ain't never been married. And I'm like, yeah, but you was in a long-term relationship. Yeah, you didn't have the ring, but that first one is usually, it's not always a good one.
No, I totally agree with that. The first pancake is never the way it's supposed to be. And I've heard from numerous women that the first marriage is not as good as the second marriage.
You learn something. The trip is like between the ages of 15 and 24. Now, I don't know why they have the statistic, right, 15 to 24. We had this conversation before. It's like at 15 years old, back in the days, you was almost like an adult at 15. But in some countries, it's arranged marriages at 15. And that's the highest rate of of divorces between 15 and 24. I got married, I was 22 years old, I believe. And to me, that marriage was almost forced, right? But at 22 years old, I didn't know anything. Like, you're a kid at 22 years old. And you get married just because the people say you should be married. And you do it because, it's almost storybook, right? You're trying to follow what the story was written. Even as a kid, when it's arranged marriage, you following the storybook. But as you get older, they said that, between 25 and 34, marriages will get a little better. And then the older you get, if you get married, of course, it's even more better because you're more established. You understand who you are as a human being. So if you get married young, it's like, you haven't even tasted all the flavors of the rainbow yet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is probably why you'll get in a situation where you would have this experience where you like, oh, well, I like sex only missionary and now I like this, or, you've changed, right?
Yep.
So I've heard times too where women will be like, well, I want more out of this relationship than what he's willing. And he's like, well, this is all we've ever done. So that's kind of weird to me, So you change, you grow up.
Let me ask you a question. You ever thought about divorce? I'm talking about me and you. Be honest.
Yeah, you asked me before, and yeah, I did. We
you
went
thought
through
about divorcing me?
We went through a rough patch. Right before we bought our house when you cheated and
I forgot about that.
And it hurt and I was ready to go. Like I was done for a couple of reasons, but I stayed for even more reasons. And I actually did write down reasons to go and reasons to stay. And I spoke to a lot of women that were older than me, that I respected, that had been married, that had been divorced. Asked their opinions, just took it as it was. I didn't want to be the bitter person who stayed and brought it up all the time, which I did repeatedly for probably the first 3 months, which then makes it rocky,
Yep.
The crying, the, feeling all, what I mean? So, but then you get over it, you know what I mean? And it's like, hey. So
I did not know all that. Like that's pretty. Damn, you just exposed all that stuff. I didn't know that because I never thought about divorce, but I thought about separation. And listening to you saying it, like you talked to all these people, and then you was like, all right, this is what I want. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
And in my separation, it was like thinking about the list, it was like a few things on that list. It was like, well, this is, you start thinking about, well, it's because of these things and these things and these things. And then I realized it goes back to changing. You trying to change someone. It's like, well, why change? Like, I don't want you doing this no more. Or my thing was always, don't do X, Y, and Z, and you'll be okay. And then when you do X, Y, and Z, I told you not to do it. So it's like, that's me trying to change you. And it's like, well, shit, if that's how you always been, why try and change you today? Like, what makes today different? So separation was definitely crossed my mind. It was more of like, damn, I'm tired of having this conversation. And then, but through that communication, he was like, all right, cool. Like, we'll change that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a change that. It was like, all right, let's reevaluate how we're doing things. And then I'm going to change and evolve as a human.
And go from there.
Yeah. So that was super dope.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. It was. Some famous divorces that I looked up are Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson. They were together for 2 years, and then they split because they were growing apart. Jesse James and Sandra Bullock, they were together for 5 years, and then he cheated on her with multiple women. This is what it said. Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore, they were together for 6 years, and he cheated on her, and they ended up splitting. He, side note, had to end up paying her money, and he paid her more than he was supposed to. Shout out to him for doing that for whatever reason. He appreciated it.
That's why Demi Moore ain't working.
She got that Die Hard money and that what was that
the
show?
70 shows money.
Yeah, that 70 show. She was with him during them years. And what was it when he was like busting out on people?
Oh, was it Punk'd?
Oh yeah, was it? Maybe it was Punk'd.
Yep.
Chris Humphries and Kim Kardashian, they were married for 72 days.
I was about to say it was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, 72 days. It took their divorce longer than it did for their marriage. And then, so we'll stay on the Kim Kardashian kick for a few minutes. We'll talk about her and Kanye. Her and Kanye they were married for 6 years, and they broke up because of the same thing, right? Personal differences. She said that they didn't have anything in common. The only time they really got along good was when he was out of town. She was like, gosh, we're really vibing, but he wasn't home. And she was lonely. And then Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey. They were basically, it was home and work, and just like regular marriage type stuff. And he somehow had revealed on some show that he slept with Kim Kardashian, and she was like, that's game over. Like, not cheated, but like I guess that somehow sometime long ago had slept with her.
That wasn't discussed in the pre-marriage conversation. She was like, what?
She's like, I can't be with someone that slept with her.
So even no matter what, so if even famous people, regular people, like no matter what, divorce is there. Like if you look at statistics, people say, 50% of divorce, or marriages end up in divorce. That number has decreased over time. But the reason why it decreased over time is because marriages have decreased over time. So if you look at, the year, like the 80s, divorce rates was 10%, a 10% divorce rate. The highest you ever seen. Back in the World War II days, it was significantly high. Divorce does not, it does not discriminate against anybody. You have to work. You have to put in work if you really want a marriage to succeed. Like Danielle said, at the time when she was thinking about divorce, she reached out to people and had conversations to find out, like, is this what I really want to do? And communication. And then we had a communication. Let me ask you this. If someone came to you today and said, hey, I'm thinking about divorce or I'm going through something, what would be, your gold nugget that you would drop on them? So like in a reverse role from where you were.
Oh, well, definitely I would tell them to take the time to write down all of the good qualities and the bad qualities of their marriage, and to look at those lists and to really think about it. And that's the first thing I would say, because if you're writing down a bunch of stuff that sucks, and there's nothing you could think of that is worth making you stay, then the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, 1,000%. And the whole, cheaper to keeper, like, that's bullshit. That's like, don't even play with that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, your mental health is much more than anything out there, right?
Yeah.
Because that goes into your physical health and your happiness. And then if you're not happy, then you're talking about abuse and all that stuff. But communication, you gotta communicate. That's at the top of the list, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta be able to communicate as an adult. Like it has to be like, all right, this is what I'm feeling. Like it's more of a use the I. Conversation is like, I am feeling this way versus you make me feel this way, or because you did this. And that's where we were for a lot. Like, that's where I learned when I was going through the thoughts of separation. It was always what you did. It was like, Danielle, you did this last night. You did this. And I never was like, well, shit, it's let's start with I instead of trying to point the finger at you. And then, that's what changed for me. And that's what helped out 1,000%. And for me, why I feel like we made it to 17 years.
All right. Love you.
I love you.
That. My quote is, be thankful for the wrong relationships. They teach you, they change you, they strengthen you, and they prepare you for the right one.
I know that's right. What's your final thought?
My final thought is, it also has a quote along with it, right? Don't spend time trying to build a wall. Don't spend time banging on the wall, hoping that it will turn into a door. And that's from Coco Chanel. And that's basically, don't try to change people. You can't marry someone and then say you want him to be this, that, or the other. Or same with a woman, right? You can't change what that person is. That's that person. And once you change them, they're not the person you married. So, like, before you marry, really, really look at that person, ask those questions, get to know the person, and know that you love that person before you make that step.
1,000%. Can't put a price on peace. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
This is life and shit.
Life and shit. Love
you. Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.